directed it.
What were you going to say? I was going to say, I think right now they're criticizing your acting. And I just think that's quite mean.
They're just criticizing my Miley Flanagan impersonation.
That's right.
They wanted a catchphrase for Naruto to say, and there were like 1,000 suggestions for this. People were coming up and they asked me for suggestions, they asked Miley for suggestions, and they literally, we submitted like a list of 50 maybe. We narrowed it down to 50. And they chose Believe It. I didn't come up with it. I don't know who did come up with it, but it started showing up in the writing in the weirdest places, in the middle of sentences. I'm going to believe it! Kill that guy! And Miley would be like, do I have to read this? Really? It's ridiculous! What am I doing? He was on the toilet in one episode.
Just before we flush.
Yeah. So, but eventually...
Yeah, I like them all of you.
But what
happens? Sometimes you get bound up.
But eventually, Miley just said to me, can I just say it at the end? I was like, yeah, let's see if it'll fly. You know, they were very hands-on. At the beginning, anyway. I don't know how it is anymore. But we did alternates. Like I said before, I do 2 takes sometimes, and I'll submit the take with Believe It at the end, and if it gets approved, from then on we start recording with Believe It at the end. So it was just easier to say, really. That's why we did it. But we didn't pick it, so blame someone else. In the front, right here. I've heard that there's a sequel to Trigun being made. Right. Well, if he's still alive in the series, it's kind of tough. I remember dying. I'm pretty sure I remember dying. And
that was only your body, man, not your spirit.
Yeah,
no, your spirit can
but
again.
Like if they asked me, I would love to play Wolfwood again. I'd find the time, even though I'm insanely busy with Digimon Day Squad and our world tour, which is going to be time-consuming. But I would love to play Wolfwood again, sure. I just don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. And, you know, I wouldn't say it ended badly on terms for us, but I was directing Digimon the movie at the time. And they came to me and they said, we only have one more, you know, volume for you to do, like a 4-episode thing, including your death scene. And they needed like 8 hours of my time, and it was very hard to give them 8 hours of my time. And they were a little pissy at me, pretty much, you know, because I was working 20 hours a day doing both Season 2 of Digimon and Digimon the movie. Eventually we worked it out, and I did everything in one 8-hour overnight session. And I did that death scene at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So I was really dying myself. So if they ask to answer your question, yes. You keep raising your hand, and I keep ignoring you. Yes.
If you had to be type of hockey, what type of hockey would you
Thank God I'm waiting for that question.
And who would eat you?
I'm sorry? She said she hates me. What did she say? What did you say, Pocky? You Pocky Punky? Quinton, I'm going to toss this to Quinton Flynn. If you could be any flavored Pocky, what would you be and who would eat you? I'll be in the back if you need.
We'd have to dim the lights for that. Well, I think I would have to be green tea Pocky for the discerning palate. And maybe all the girls will squeal.
Oh yeah.
One of those girls has a very deep voice.
And a very hairy chest. Yes.
So, how did you get into voice acting for anime?
How did... Yeah.
Fight broke out between Reno and Axel.
Yeah. If a fight broke out between Reno and Axel.
Yes. Well, I'd be fighting myself. It's gonna be tough. Get me off of me!
Don't make me separate you again.
I'm sorry, we didn't know what we were thinking.
A lot of companies are trying to leave the Japanese names intact. I was just wondering why the name changes in Digimon baseball.
I was drunk. No. You know, it's personal preference. Believe me, after episode 4, you're not going to notice the difference between Masaru and Marcus. I feel I reach a broader audience by changing the names. And you might be a little upset about it at first, but you're not going to worry. You're not even going to think about it. And besides, it's a different character, really. Even though it's the same intention, Quinton's playing it a lot different than the Japanese actor. He's Marcus Damon. That guy is Masaru Diamond. Okay? Yeah. Yeah.
Do you agree with cutting out parts of the original Japanese to make it suitable, like for kids stuff?
I don't really worry about it. I don't really think about it because it has to be done. We're in America. That's what they do in America. You know, so you wouldn't have it here on Jetix and Gene Disney if we didn't do those things, or Fox Kids for that matter. It's just what it is. So it's the job, and that's how I look at it. If I want to get it on TV, I have to do those things. So I don't really worry about it, and I don't fight them on it because it's pointless. Yeah.
After Digimon, what are your future projects?
Axel would win.
I was wondering how you got started writing first than anything else, and classes for it, was just an idea of dialogue.
That was Mrs. Sloan's class in first grade, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just took scriptive.
Yeah.
Print. I have excellent penmanship.
Yeah.
How did I get involved in writing? I always wanted to be a writer, and for anime is different. Just my screenplays and things I've written aside, I did take classes and read a lot of books on it. But for anime, there is no book. There's no book on ADR, what we call additional dialogue recording. But I just had to sort of learn on the fly. And I saw a sample script and sort of copied it and then made it my own a little bit. But there is no class. Like I said before, you sort of have to be an actor. And before you can be a writer or director, you have to be an actor to see the process. And you have to know, like what I write in the script, I'm writing a blueprint to the actor and the director. Which happens to be me sometimes. They're all me sometimes, but still, it's sort of guidelines. And unless you've been in the booth and know what you're looking for, you won't know how to read that script. So you just try and error, really. Only if I know I might forget something, I'll write in the notes column. Remember to make him not yell too much, or bring it down here, or don't have too much of a pain reaction. I don't want him to be too much pain here. A lot of times I like that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next. Yeah.
What was the longest take you had to do one like scene?
The longest take you've ever had to do? I don't know, but you did an outtake once that went on for a long time. You played Dr. Riddles on Zatch Bell.
Yeah, I started singing Def Leppard's Rock of Ages. So that went on for a while.
And we have it all on tape somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Because you can really break those things up. You never know it at home, but we have these things called Pro Tools. It's all digital. And you could literally record one word at a time if you wanted to, and piece it together, it would be seamless. So you don't really have to do too many long takes.
Sometimes with some of those monologues, you and I kind of work into time.
Yeah, but occasionally if there's a breath in there, we can cut right in on that breath too. Thank goodness for Pro Tools.
Yes.